it's time to talk a little bit more about the control signals that we've kept putting off. So here I've shown expanded out so we can see the different units. A basic data path with an arithmetic, logical, and shift unit as part of it. And you can see we have logical functions, shift types, and enables for each of the respective units. We also have not, add, subtract. Over on the right, we have store enable and load enable, memory select, not read write, and so on and so forth. We're not showing the clock lines, but there's a clock that goes into the register file as well. So where did these addresses come from? Where does the immediate data come from? And so on and so forth. Well, let's go through a couple operations and see how this would all work out. First, I want to introduce two terms. One is microcode. We use that to refer to the binary digital control signals. And the other is assembly. Assembly is the human readable version that's translated into control codes or control signals. We will also run across machine code. Machine code is the full set of binary values that make up an instruction. Microcode might seem a funny way to refer to control signals, but there's some history involved here. We've learned about state machines. When we add something, it's pretty much a combinational logic function that we're doing. In fact, everything that we've disclosed for our ALU has all just been simple combinational logic that's modulated or controlled via control signals. Early computers actually had state machines that would do complex multi-step operations instead of simple control signals. That enabled easy coding using assembly because each function could do a significant amount, such as copy a block of memory from one location to another location, or something like this. It was found, however, that having all this complication and this sophistication, if you will, in the data path slowed it down. The highest clock speeds that could be achieved were much lower than can be achieved now, and it's because the critical paths were too long. So over time, computer architects found that very simple data paths operating at high speeds are more effective than complicated data paths that can only operate at lower speeds. So back when it was a state machine, it was almost that state machine was viewed as a small program that would run, hence the microcode moniker. All right, so let's look at a simple add operation. And we'll draw the signals down here and we'll fill out the table while we're at it. Notice that I copied this diagram from someone else's lecture and they've labeled things slightly differently. This is from some slides I received from Yu Wong. And here, instead of AX, AY, and so on, they just have X, Y, and Z as the actual addresses. I'm going to modify that a bit. Kind of like the way that works better. Okay, so let's say that we want to do this operation. R1 gets R1 plus R2. So what data goes where? Well, for the X, let's select 1 and Y, we'll select 2. So that selects register 1 and register 2 respectively. And Z, we're going to be writing the result back into register 1. The immediate enable is going to be 0. We don't want that enabled, so this is going to be a don't care. Let's start writing some of these in here. 1, 2, 1, immediate enable, and don't care. We aren't going to be accessing memory, so the store enable and the load enable are both going to be 0. Memory select. We won't be accessing memory, so that's going to be a 0. And I notice here there's a little discrepancy between not read write and read not write. Let's just fix that. There we go. But in either case, we're not going to be writing to memory, so we're going to put a 0 there. And what else do we need to worry about? Well, the shift unit enable is going to have to be 0. We're not using the shift unit, and we're not using the logic unit. And so the logic function won't matter, and the shift function won't matter. So we're almost there. We want to add, so the not add subtract is going to be 0. And the arithmetic unit enable is going to be 1. And then we're going to want to write the results back into the register. So that's going to be 1. And so this is going to be R1 gets R2 plus R1. And this is also phrased in assembly as add R1, R2, R1. Now, depending on the particular notation that you're looking at, the add operation can be expressed differently with the destination register first or the destination register last. So here we've got some ambiguity because we haven't specified, but there we have our add. And let's go ahead and just define this to be consistent with the MIPS architecture, a standard architecture similar to what we're looking at here. Let's try another one. This next will be a shift logical left by 5. Go with a different color here. And we have R3 gets R2 shifted left by 5. So what do we need there? R3 is our destination register. So we have a 3 at the Z address. We really don't care what X is. We're not going to use it in this case because we're using the immediate value. So the immediate enable is going to be 1. And X, the source register, is 2. We'll enable the register write. We're not accessing memory, so both of those are going to be 0. All the memory controls are 0. We're not using the arithmetic unit or the logical unit, so those enables are 0. But we are using the shift unit. So that one is 1. And in the shift unit, we're going to be doing the logical shift. So this is going to be 0. That's it. That's pretty straightforward. So, maybe easier than we thought. Let's put down these numbers. I'm going to make this so we can see it all while we work. We have 2, don't care, 1, 1 for immediate enable. Immediate value is going to be 5. Arithmetic enable is off. Logical is not enabled, but the shift function is enabled, and the shift type is 0. Store is not enabled, load is not enabled, and the memory is not enabled. So this is shift left destination will be 3, source register is 2, and the amount is an immediate value, or a constant, that we call 5. So let's try a few more. We'll use blue for this one. Maybe this will be a logic function. So in this one we'll say register 7 gets register 4 and register 5. So this is a logical AND where the respective bits from 4 and 5 are ANDed together. So bit 0 of register 4 is ANDed with bit 0 of register 5 and becomes bit 0 of register 7. And same for bit 1, 2, and so on and so forth. So we're kind of getting this down now. The address for the target register is 7. And for the other two, 4 and 5 respectively, we are not using immediate values, so we don't select that. We are writing to a register. We're not using memory, so all of those go. We're not using the shift unit or the arithmetic unit, we're just using the logical unit, so that will have a value of 1. We want to do logical operation, so this is a little trickier. We go back to our lecture on data path elements and we look up the lookup table values that we want to perform an AND operation. These lookup tables values are going to be 1, 0, 0, 0, and so that's what we'll put here as our logical function. So that is 1, 0, 0, 0. And that's pretty much all we need. Let's go ahead and put these into our table now. We'll have 4, 5, 7. Read, write, enable, register, write, enable rather is 1. We're not using the immediate value, nor are we using the arithmetic unit, but we are using the logic unit, so that's a 1. And the values here are 1, 0, 0, 0. The shift unit isn't being used. We aren't storing or loading or accessing memory in any way, giving us and we'll have the target, which is R7, R4, and R5 respectively. Let's do one more and have it access memory. In this case, we're going to store data to memory. And so we're going to denote that operation as mem at the location pointed to by R2 gets the value of R1. So this is the memory address. There, I just made it purple so that we have a different color in the table up above. Here we are not writing to the registers, so that is going to be 0. We need 2 values out. We have a don't care on the right then, but we need 2 registers, R1 and R2, and the question is which one is which? Well, if that's our X and that's our Y, X is the one that's connected directly to the address. And so X is going to be 2. Y connects to the data, and so that will be register 1. Our immediate enable here is 0. It's not enabled. And so we have a don't care on the immediate value. Every unit here is disabled. Store enable is high, but load enable is low. we're going to select the memory and we're going to write. So with that, we can come fill out the table. We said that register X had 2, Y, we have a don't care, a 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Store enable is high, load enable is low, read not write, or not read write is high, and memory select is high. So this is store word, and we haven't discussed this entirely yet, but this is going to be, we're going to give the target, the value, the register with the value to be stored first. So that is register 1. And then we're going to use a strange notation here. That is 0, open paren, register 2. We haven't shown yet the reason for this 0, and in fact, it's not going to work right here. But let me give you one idea. It's possible to take the immediate value and put it into an adder and have that be the address. That way you can say, I want to store this at the address pointed to by register 2 with an offset of some immediate value according to the instruction. In order to do that, we need an extra adder there in the address path that we don't have. But in practical systems, it's there. And so what we're looking at here on the description side is the standard MIPS assembly code, and the MIPS architecture allows for that.